Why was Prince Daeron sent to Oldtown? The real reason explained. House of the Dragon. Spoiler warning. This video contains spoilers for House of the Dragon Season 3 and discusses lore from Fire and Blood. For years, House of the Dragon fans kept asking the same question. If King Viserys had 4 children with Alicent Hightower, where was Prince Daeron? While Aegon, Helaena, and Aemon grew up in King's Landing, Daeron was almost completely absent from the story. Many viewers even assumed HBO had written him out of the series. But when Daeron finally appeared in Season 3, another mystery took center stage. Why was he sent to Oldtown in the first place? Was King Viserys trying to protect his youngest son? Was Alicent responsible for the decision? Or was there a much bigger political reason behind it? Let's break it all down. To understand why Daeron ended up in Oldtown, we first need to understand the importance of House Hightower. Oldtown isn't just another city in Westeros. It's home to the Citadel, where Mesters are trained, and the Starry Sept, one of the most important religious centers in the realm. More importantly, it's the ancestral seat of House Hightower, one of the richest and most influential families in the Seven Kingdoms. Since Alicent herself was born a Hightower, Oldtown was effectively Daeron's second home. Sending him there strengthened the bond between the Iron Throne and one of its most powerful allies. There was also a practical reason. King's Landing was becoming an increasingly dangerous place for children. As the rivalry between Rhaenyra and Alicent intensified, the Red Keep turned into a center of political intrigue, family divisions, and growing mistrust. Every conversation became political. Every gathering carried hidden tensions. Growing up in that environment could have placed Daeron in constant danger. By sending him to Oldtown, the royal family kept him away from the daily conflicts consuming the capital. Whether this was done primarily for his safety or for political convenience remains open to interpretation, but it clearly gave Daeron a very different upbringing from his siblings. Unlike Aegon and Aemon, Daeron wasn't surrounded by constant court politics. Instead, he grew up among the disciplined traditions of House Hightower. He trained with knights. He learned military strategy. He developed close relationships with the Hightowers and earned the respect of Lord Ormond Hightower, who became both his commander and mentor. That environment shaped Daeron into a prince known for courtesy, discipline, and humility. Many characters even describe him as the most well-mannered of Alicent's children. But there was another major reason Daeron remained in Oldtown. The Greens needed a trusted prince in the Reach. The Reach is one of the wealthiest and most populous regions in Westeros. If civil war ever broke out, controlling its armies and resources would be crucial. Having a Targaryen prince living among the Hightowers strengthened alliances and ensured that one of the kingdom's most powerful regions remained loyal to the Green cause. In other words, Daeron wasn't simply living in Oldtown. He was also serving as an important political connection between the Crown and House Hightower. Of course, there was another benefit. Daeron wasn't alone. He had his dragon, Targaryen, often called the Blue Queen. Away from the crowded skies around King's Landing, Daeron could continue growing alongside Targaryen in a relatively stable environment. By the time war finally arrived, both prince and dragon were ready to fight. That preparation would prove invaluable once the Dance of the Dragons began. Season 3 also reveals the downside of Daeron's upbringing. Growing up in Oldtown meant spending years under the influence of Lord Ormond Hightower. Ormond wasn't simply a guardian. He was a military strategist determined to shape Daeron into the ideal Green Prince. Episode 4 shows this clearly when Ormond pressures Daeron into carrying out his first execution. The scene demonstrates that Daeron's education wasn't limited to books and swordsmanship. He was also being taught that a ruler must sometimes abandon mercy for power. Whether those lessons ultimately strengthen Daeron or corrupt him remains one of the season's biggest questions. Interestingly, Daeron's years away from King's Landing also explain why many viewers immediately notice how different he feels compared with his brothers. Aegon often acts impulsively, Aemon is driven by ambition and revenge. But Daeron appears calmer, kinder, and more thoughtful. His distance from court politics may have preserved qualities that the others lost long ago. At the same time, his lack of experience in the brutal politics of King's Landing could also become a weakness as the war grows more ruthless. So, was sending Daeron to Oldtown the right decision? From a political perspective, it was a smart move. It strengthened House Hightower's loyalty, protected a valuable royal heir, and positioned the Dragon Rider in one of the kingdom's most important regions. But it also placed Daeron under Ormond Hightower's influence during the most formative years of his life. Now, as the Dance of the Dragons reaches its bloodiest stage, those years in Oldtown are beginning to shape every decision Daeron makes. One thing is certain. Daeron is no longer the forgotten son of King Viserys. He's becoming one of the Green's most important leaders. And the lessons he learned in Oldtown could determine not only his own future, but the future of the entire Targaryen civil war. So, what do you think? Was Daeron safer in Oldtown, or did growing up under Ormond Hightower ultimately make him more dangerous? Share your theory in the comments below. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications for more House of the Dragon explainers, character deep dives, hidden details, and Episode 5 theories. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.